Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. The first time Rachel mentioned the idea of an open marriage, I thought it was a joke. Rachel and I met in college, got married young, and had a son, Ethan, by the time we were 25. Life was tough in those early years, but we made it work. Or at least, I thought we did. We were sitting at the dinner table, Ethan playing with his toys in the living room. Rachel took a sip of her wine and said it like it was nothing. "Have you ever thought about seeing other people?" she asked casually. I nearly choked on my drink. "What?" "I mean, don't you ever get bored?" she said, her voice light but her eyes searching mine. "Bored?" I blinked, trying to wrap my head around it. "We've been married for 8 years, Rachel. We have a child." "That's exactly my point," she said, leaning forward. "We've been together so long. Don't you think it might be healthy to explore?" "Explore what, exactly? Other people?" I said, my voice rising. "Are you serious right now?" She sighed, exasperated. "Eric, I'm not saying we don't love each other. I'm saying we could love each other and experience something new. It's not unheard of." I stared at her, unable to believe my ears. "So what? You want permission to sleep with other people?" "It's not just about that," she said quickly. "It's about freedom. Trust." I let out a bitter laugh. "Trust? How does cheating on me build trust?" "It's not cheating if we agree on it," she said, her tone icy. For weeks we argued about it. Rachel insisted that an open marriage would reignite the spark, as though the love and life we'd built together were something trivial, a flickering candle easily rekindled by her whims. I told her it was a betrayal, plain and simple, a crack in the very foundation of our marriage. But she wouldn't let it go. Every conversation felt like a rerun of the same unbearable episode. "Eric," she'd say, her voice softer than usual, as if she were trying to convince a child, "you have to understand, this isn't about us not working. It's about exploring ourselves as individuals." "Exploring ourselves?" I'd shoot back. "We're married, Rachel. We're a team. Or at least I thought we were." The arguments escalated, shifting from calm debates to heated exchanges that echoed through the walls of our home. Ethan would retreat to his room, his headphones on, trying to drown out the chaos of his parents' crumbling relationship. And every night I'd go to bed with a pit in my stomach, hoping, praying that this was just a phase. Then came the night she dropped the bomb. We were in the kitchen, late at night. I had just finished cleaning up after dinner, the clatter of dishes now replaced by an eerie silence. Rachel stood by the counter, her wineglass in hand, swirling the deep red liquid as if it held all the answers. "Eric," she said, her voice unnervingly calm, "we need to talk." I knew that tone. It was the one she used when she was about to say something she knew I wouldn't like. I dried my hands on a towel and turned to face her. "What now, Rachel?" She hesitated, her fingers gripping the stem of the glass tightly. Her eyes darted to the floor, then back to mine. "I've already met someone." For a moment the words didn't register. It felt like she'd spoken in a language I didn't understand. "You... what?" I finally managed, my chest tightening as the implications began to sink in. "I haven't done anything yet," she added quickly as if that made it better. "But I want to, and I want your blessing." Her words hit me like a freight train, the ground beneath me disappearing into an abyss. For the first time in my life, I looked at my wife and didn't recognize her. This wasn't the woman I'd fallen in love with, the mother of my child, the person I'd built a life with. This was a stranger wearing her face. "You've already met someone," I repeated, the words bitter on my tongue. "And now you want my blessing? Are you serious?" Rachel set the wine glass down and stepped closer, her hands outstretched as if to calm me. "Eric, please, listen to me. This doesn't have to be a bad thing, it's something I need to do." "Something you need to do?" I snapped, pulling away from her reach. "And what about me, Rachel? What about Ethan? What about the life we've built?" "This doesn't change how I feel about you," she insisted, her voice trembling. "I still love you, but I need more. We both deserve more." "More?" I laughed bitterly. "You mean more than commitment? More than loyalty? More than everything we've already been through together? What the hell is more, Rachel?" She flinched at my words, her expression hardening. "I'm not saying this to hurt you," she said quietly. But I can't keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. What do you mean by pretending? I asked, my voice rising. I thought we were happy, Rachel. I believed we were working through life together. We are, she cried, tears pooling in her eyes. But I need to feel alive again, Eric. I need to feel something. I stared at her, my mind racing, my heart breaking. How do you respond to something like that? How do you fight for a marriage when the person you're fighting for doesn't even want to stay in the ring? And this guy, I said finally, my voice laced with venom. What is he? Your answer to everything? It's not about him, she said quickly, shaking her head. It's about me. No, I said, stepping back, the anger boiling over. It's about us, Rachel. Or at least it was. But now it's just about you. She opened her mouth to respond, but I held up a hand, cutting her off. You know what? Fine. You want an open marriage? Do whatever the hell you want, but don't expect me to stick around and watch you destroy everything we've built. Her face crumpled, a sob escaping her lips. Eric, Save it, I said coldly, grabbing my jacket. I need some air. I walked out the door that night, leaving her crying in the kitchen. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I couldn't stay. Not after what she'd just said. Not after the cracks in our marriage had finally split wide open. I should have known better than to let her manipulate me like that. I shouldn't have agreed to her twisted idea of an open marriage. But part of me, the part that wanted to keep some shred of hope, some thread of connection with her, agreed anyway. Deep down, I was furious, humiliated, and determined to show her exactly how it felt. The days that followed were a blur. Rachel wasted no time jumping into her new arrangement. Within a week, she was seeing some guy named Liam, apparently a co-worker. She'd come home late, smelling like cologne that wasn't mine, acting like nothing had changed between us. But I saw the difference. I felt it. She was distant, cold, as though I was just another thing she had to tolerate. I knew I couldn't confront her. I couldn't make a scene and look weak. That would be exactly what she expected, and I'd be the fool. So, I played along. I kept my distance, let her do her thing, but inside, I was simmering. I was plotting. That's when Megan, Rachel's younger sister, came into the picture. Megan had always been the wild one, the one who kept me on my toes when we were younger. We'd always gotten along, but I never imagined it would come to this. The truth was, I didn't care anymore. My marriage was over, and I wanted Rachel to feel the pain of what she had done. I wanted her to experience betrayal in a way she could never come back from. She wanted an open marriage? Fine. But I was going to make sure she understood the cost of her decision. Megan had always been attractive, but over the years the attraction between us had only grown. It was subtle at first, just a lingering glance here or there. But once I realized what was happening, I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop myself. It was like a dam had broken. One evening, Rachel wasn't home. She had told me earlier that she was going out, probably with Liam, though she hadn't said it outright. She had become good at pretending her outings were casual or work-related, but I wasn't blind. I knew what she was doing. The house was quiet, and the stillness gnawed at me. The anger that had been simmering inside me for weeks finally boiled over. I picked up my phone and typed a quick message to Megan. We need to talk. My thumb hovered over the send button for a moment, but then I pressed it. I didn't care anymore. Rachel wanted an open marriage? Fine. She was out doing whatever she wanted, and I wasn't going to sit around feeling like the fool. It didn't take long for Megan to reply. What's wrong? Can you come over? I texted back. I really need to talk to someone. She responded almost instantly. I'll be there soon. When Megan arrived, she looked concerned. She stepped into the house cautiously, her eyes scanning my face. Eric, are you okay? What happened? She asked, her voice soft but filled with genuine worry. I'm fine, I said, though the bitterness in my tone betrayed me. Rachel's out again. You can guess who she's probably with. Megan frowned, her lips tightening. I can't believe she's doing this to you. I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. I guess this is what she wanted. Freedom, right? Well, she's got it. Megan hesitated, then stepped closer, placing a hand on my arm. You deserve better, Eric. Her touch was electric, and I couldn't help but look at her differently in that moment. I'd always known Megan cared, but this was different. The concern in her eyes, the warmth in her touch, it was everything I hadn't felt in so long. For the first time, I let myself acknowledge what had been lingering between us. The boundaries we danced around were no longer there, and before I knew it, we were kissing, all the frustration and hurt I'd been carrying pouring out in that moment. I don't know who kissed who first, but before I knew it, we were in the bedroom. For the first time in months, I felt alive. Wanted. Rachel found out a week later. I wasn't exactly subtle, and I wasn't trying to be. She came home early one night and caught us in the living room. Megan was sitting on the couch, still in one of my shirts. Rachel's face turned white as a sheet. "Are you kidding me?" she screamed. "With my sister?" "You wanted an open marriage," I said calmly. "I'm just playing by your rules." "This isn't the same," she yelled, her voice breaking. "She's my sister, Eric." "And Liam's your coworker," I shot back. "What's the difference?" Rachel stood there, trembling, unable to speak. Her face twisted with a mix of fury and pain, and for a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then I remembered all those nights I spent waiting for her to come home, wondering if she was even thinking about me. "You've destroyed this," she finally managed to choke out, her voice barely above a whisper. "Everything we built, it's gone." I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. "Don't pin this all on me, Rachel. You started this the moment you asked for an open marriage. You threw the first stone." "I never thought you'd—" She stopped, her words catching in her throat. "With Megan, I can't even look at you." "Well, now you know how it feels," I said sharply. "To be blindsided, to have the rug pulled out from under you." Megan, still sitting on the couch, looked visibly uncomfortable. "Maybe I should go," she muttered, standing up and grabbing her bag. Rachel turned her glare toward her sister. "You think walking out now makes this better? You betrayed me too, Megan. You're supposed to be my sister, not this." Megan opened her mouth to reply but thought better of it. She gave me a brief, apologetic glance before slipping out the door, leaving Rachel and me alone in the tense, suffocating silence. Rachel crossed her arms, her body trembling. "So what now? Are we just done?" I stared at her, the weight of everything crashing down on me. "We were done the moment you decided us wasn't enough, Rachel. This," I gestured between us, "this is just the aftermath." She turned away, wiping at her face. For a moment, I thought she might say something else, but instead, she just walked out, slamming the door behind her. The divorce came quickly after that. Neither of us had the strength to drag it out any longer. Rachel moved into an apartment across town, while I stayed in the house, for now. Megan and I didn't last long either. What had started between us was born out of hurt and anger, a temporary distraction more than a real connection. Ethan, our son, became my anchor in the storm. I focused on being there for him, rebuilding a life where the chaos of the past didn't define our future. Rachel and I kept things civil for his sake, but the wounds between us never fully healed. Looking back, I can't say I regret how it all ended. It wasn't clean or noble, but it was real, and maybe sometimes that's all you can ask for. Thank you for watching.